Hood postman, city, hood, click. Let's go.
About humanity, putting truth in these lies, while they busy feeding lies. When you got that tunnel vision, gotta open up your eyes. Wake up and go to sleep. Man, I'm praying all times. And to my guys, ain't no other side. This for my brothers, I'ma pray we all shine. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Yeah, you already know.
Depending on the lessons, some people eat, some people learn. But the game is going to send you big. Lock the door.
Lock the door. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation and the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mill, the Hood Postman. Be sure to click that notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below so when the dope content hit, it'll feel like it's the first of the 15th. Welcome to the Mailroom. When you come in, take a look at your mind, examine what's in your heart. You can go anywhere in the world to get a couple of lies, but you come right here to get the truth, and the truth you shall receive. This is not a glorification or a glamorization. It's always an education. Before they had handguns, they had hand guys. Man up, get on the bus and let me take you to school, guys. Man, if you ring that bell, I'm going to bring that bell. Shout out to Young and Hefe for that. Shout out to everybody that's joined us. Barlana William, Postman General Dominique. What's going on? King Mike in the house. Good to see you, fella. What's going on with you, champ? What's good with you? Shout out to Mailroom Nation again. Man, shout out to all my cousins and nephews, kinfolks, and relatives, everybody. Bring them all in, guys. Let's get it. Let's go. Listen, guys. You see the thumbnail. I got Big Tookie. I got Robert Thomas, A.K. Frog. I got Donald Duck Norwood, Stanley Tookie Williams, all in the thumbnail. And we're going to talk about the Red House, and we're going to get into some stuff today. This is Tales from the Hood, guys. No, it's Welcome Wednesday. My bad. Welcome. Wisdom Wednesday. Wisdom Wednesday. What is the wisdom? Listen, fake friends are like 10 dimes. They'll change for $1. That's the wisdom right there. Fake, I'm going to say that again. Fake friends are like 10 dimes. They'll change for $1. Let's get into the content, guys. I appreciate each and every last one of you, and it's always an honor to be sharing time and space with you. We're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about how the Red House became the Red House and how impactful and significant the Red House was in that era of Crippin. See, what people don't understand, like during that time, during the 70s, the color red or the color blue was they was distinguishable. They was distinguished each side, but they wasn't like to the degree where people was crossing it out. Then that's how, you saw back in the day, you would see homeboys named Bop. I got a homeboy named Bebop. I got a homeboy named New Bop. I got a homeboy named, C-Bop, that he corrected because he's a later generation. But what I'm saying, there was also Pyru's whose name was Loke. And they took the other part out and put the K, L-O-K. So what I'm telling you guys, a lot of this stuff that you guys see today didn't exist in the beginning. The hate and the resentment and all this degradation and all this stuff that you see now, that where people is unliving people based on absolutely nothing, It wasn't done back in the 70s. And the Red House became known as the Red House because it was just that. It was this big old red barn. It is Tuesday. My bad. I'm skipping ahead. I don't know how I jumped to Wednesday, but anyway, we dropped it anyway. Thank you, Marlena. Thank you for correcting me. I'm a day ahead. Is that a good or bad thing? So how the Red House became the Red House, it was this big old barn looking house. It was a 2-story house that sat on and was like crossways. The way it's set, it was like you would have thought it would have been like more like a horizontal way, but it was set behind Ben's liquor store, and his son worked. Ben had the liquor store that was exactly behind the Red House, and his son, I can't remember his son's name, but he was part of that Crippin too. But yeah, and the dairy set across the street, and across the street was the Pine Terrace and the Glen Cove. And the Pine Terrace is where the swimming pool was at, and we all used to go swimming there, or we'll be at the Red House. But part of that, when the Grandies, when everybody could no longer hang in the Grandies, right? It wasn't nothing to see everybody showing up to the Red House. That's how I met the Bitter Dog Brunos and the Half Pints and the Baby Roscoes and the cartoons, and later on I met the Pookies and the Monkey Mans and some of the guys from the West Side, and then not counting the guys from the East Side as well. That's how everybody would somehow find their way to the Red House, and the Red House was a central location where Crippin happened. And Bob Simmons ran it, and then we had the Kenny, what we call Baby Boy. He was like the helper there, but I think him and Tookie had a better relationship than Bob. But I always used to call Bob the Crip Whisperer, because he would always come around and you would see him, but he would always pull Tookie to the side and say different things. I don't know what those conversations were like, but I said, man, this dude must be the Crip. Later on, I thought about this dude must be the Crip Whisperer. But part of that is that when they got kicked out of Banning, they was in Banning, California at Factor Brookings. It was an all-boys boarding school up there, and they got kicked out of because of, let's face it, they took L.A. and Compton, the Watts problem, and put them in the wilderness of Banning out there next to the Indian reservation. And the havoc and the chaos that they put out there was like, man, you got Tookie, you got Buddha, Bogart, you got Warlock, you got Donald Duck Norwood, you got Hercules, you got all these different people out there, Killer Carl, you got all this. And then when they moved on Pine, it made perfect sense due to how Oaks Park was formulated, being that Duck was already part of the Factor Brookings, and then when they wind up for there, so part of that was shaped that area, that particular area, which you guys would have referred to you guys as Oaks Park, was that ideology that started, whatever started in Factor Brookings, and those relationships that was built, and then wind up at the Red House, it built from there. And I always got to give a shout out to my homie Darnell Miles, aka D Shot, man. He had a very big, impactful, another hand guy from that area. You know, Darnell was that, kept him a 63, Darnell had a few low riders. He was always kept him riding, but yeah, he kept him brags and hard tops. Yeah, so he was like, you know, but everybody would wind up at the Red. It was either the Red House or we be in Oaks Park chilling. It wasn't nothing to see 50 or 60, 70 Crips in Oaks Park, if not more, at a time. And they would be shot. Let me see what it is. Appreciate that. Let's see. Crip culture question. What happened to the earrings, especially the cross earring, that wouldn't Grandies be the NBC ancestors or the Grandies ancestors set all the Crippin? Well, for Buddha. So, good question. So Boot Hill was its own entity, right? At the time, 16 block was what you call NBC, Compton's Crip, Nutty Block. There was no such thing as Nutty Block. It was 165 block Crip. It was actually a block. Keely Wells, Karate Man, Big Mac, Fatso, Timmy, Amy, Big Ollie, Little Ollie. Those are some of the guys that were originated off that 165 block, right? But the Grandy's itself was a stronghold for all Compton Crip. The Grandy's itself was a stronghold for all Compton Crip, which later on merged and became part of that 165 block culture, because after then you get the Northwoods and the 166 and all the other streets that's over there that became part of 165. So now you got to change it. So they went from 165 block to NBC, Neighborhood Block Crip, right? Then from Neighborhood Block Crip to Nutty Block. That's how that. So you had to make those changes, because now if you don't make those changes, then you excluding somebody out of the equation, right? So to make everybody comfortable, you got to change the name, because now if you just calling it 165 block, that means everybody on 165 block is a Crip, and everybody else, what do they claim? If they live, what if they live on Kemp, Northwood, or White Marsh or something, or Caldwell or something? How do they claim 165 block? You get what I'm saying? So to make it all, I think just my sense, how I make sense of it, to make it all work, you change it to NBC, Neighborhood Block Crip, and then you say, oh nah, let's change it again, Nutty Block, which made perfect sense. And I think that was like, to me, that's just observable reality. That's just my opinion. They may look at it different. But again, the Grandy's was a stronghold for all Compton Crip. Great question. Thanks for that question. And I got to do better with these questions, guys. But if you super chat me, guarantee if I see it, I'm going to get right to your questions. I'm not going to hesitate or drag on it anymore. And I appreciate you dropping that, bro. Appreciate you. Let's see, Marlena, I'm on it, right? Marlena gets on me when I do, when I shout out to Cynthia Nunn in the house. So going back to the Red House, even Cynthia Nunn, Mama Nunn, used to go to the Red House, because her and Bob Simmons, and I don't want to not put that in, see, because I'm telling you guys, this thing that y'all got, whatever y'all got in your mind, this idea about red and blue, wasn't like what y'all really think it was. It wasn't all that hate filled, because there was dudes that was named, they wasn't crossing out B's and P's, and just like the Pyrus wasn't crossing out C's. They wasn't doing none of that. It was easy to find those names to be like, you would have thought at this day and time, you would think, man, that's more of a Crip leaning name, or that's more of a Pyru leaning name. So, but they didn't look at it like that. It was a very different thing. And Mama Nunn had a relationship with Bob Simmons, so therefore Cynthia and them would come by the Red House, so to speak. Okay, so she know what I'm saying. She could get verify what I just said to you guys. She said, yep. So Mama Nunn, we all knew Mama Nunn. Mama Nunn had that van. Everybody knew. We seen that van. Oh, here come Mama Nunn. That was too funny right there. Too funny, but yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, I mean, just having fun with it and sharing history, guys. We don't have to be malicious. We don't have to make anybody feel bad, because history is history, and it's medicine for a sick mind. Within history of the variety of human experience we can teach and learn from. There's a lot of people that have history that somehow they become shame of, because sometimes you got Crip neighborhoods that used to be leaning more red, and you got Blood neighborhoods that used to be leaning more blue, but they run from that history. Let's see, here we go. How would the U.S. organization come into play or over near what is known as South? That another good question, because that area probably, you got to think Vincent Jones, you got to think Daniels, let's see, Timothy Blunt, you got to think Alvin Transman. They was part of, see, The Pyrus, and let me give you a little more history. The Pyrus, shout out to Wally though. The Pyrus and the Us Boys, US, right? They're the only original gangs from Compton. Not the only, but those are two original gangs from Compton. The Crips came from LA. But the original gangs that was formulated, put together, and came together was the US and the Piru. And at one time they start calling it the U and the Ru. That's because they had connections. But the US boys, there was some US boys, like I remember Alan Jeff Cole and Jimmy Woods and stuff. They was US boys, but those guys, they stayed true to what, like Anthony Atkinson, them, they stayed true to being Pyrus. Because after the breakup of the US boys, they stayed Piru, but some of the US boys became Crips. Now, you get people that don't want to necessarily talk about that because they want that part of the history to go, like, to be the right nearly talk about. So, and I'm not saying everybody on the South Side, because Gangster Ben, as far as I can remember, Gangster Ben was a Crip. As far as I can remember. Now, what anybody else might believe or say, that's on them. But I remember Bay Ben. Bay Ben is a staple Burris Lane Crip over there. So I can't never, but around the corner from him on Chester and Pearl and stuff, those guys might have had a different ideology. So everybody over there, what per se, what would you say were US? So I just want to clear that up so nobody misconstrue or make any differences out of that, because people would take some words and then they'll start building their own idea about it, and then next thing you know, I'll be getting a call and say, "Hey man, you said no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. Go listen to the video. I did not say that," because I don't have people that say, "Hey man, I heard you say." I said, "Well, how did you get it?" And they say, "Well, so and so." I say, "Well, you didn't listen to it yourself?" "No, such and such told me." I said, do you think he might have had an agenda? Or do you think he might have had selective hearing? Did you consider that? Did you even consider, sorry, damn, spit on my, that's crazy. Did you even consider that he might not even like me? Or he might just be trying to spread propaganda to make you believe that something other than what was really said. That's happened to these videos, guys. It is shameful, and I'm sorry. Shout out to Sean Prince. That's what happens sometimes, and I'm here for it. I don't, because I'm pretty smart. I'm sharp. I recognize different things. That's why I say fake friends are like 10 dimes. They're changed. They just changed. They're changed for $1. Exactly. And sometimes these people be right up under you, right near you, close to you, all that. But yeah, but great question again that you asked there. But people don't have to be, people don't have to see, but the U.S. wasn't an organization. You conflating that. The US organization was by Ron Karenga. That was the United Slaves. U.S. was a gang, which was, they had the little pennant that said they had the U.S. thing on the flag or something. They used to get it from the surplus down there by Dooley's on Long Beach Boulevard. Remember the surplus? There was Dooley's, and then down there was a surplus store. So, and that's from Kilo G. He was a U.S. boy, and my boy Tommy Dean, who actually was a U.S. boy / when he went to the pen became BGF. So then there was Knuckles, let's see, Fruity, Douglas, Tim Douglas. There was quite a few of them. I can't name them all, guys, but yeah, you guys get the gist of what I'm saying. So, but then, so, as usual, sometimes things fall out, people fall out of favor, and stuff happen, and and now you got to split and divide. The U.S. went one way, and part of the U.S. went over to the red side, and part of the U.S. went over to the blue side. That's the truth. But anyway, yeah. So coming back to the Red House, So the Red House became like where they used to held what you guys know as may have heard about round table or long table meets, however you choose to frame it. Rosie Greer, Mayor Tom Bradley, my guy, Mayor, let's see, who was that? I don't know if Mama Nunn, Cynthia, maybe Cynthia can ask was she part of that when Tom Bradley came together with Rosie Greer and the guy that owned the Red House, Bob Simmons, was she part of that? That was part of that inner circle to help put that together. You guys have to ask Cynthia that question. I don't know the answer to that, but I know Mama Nunn was around. Marion Huffs. Yeah, well, yes. Shout out to the Asiatic Supreme. Been a while, bro. It's been a while since you see. So part of that. So downstairs was this like a garage area that was closed in, but it was like a glass, and that's what Tookie had is all his weight. He used to bring all that weight. So you had Tiny Man, Weasel, Mad Nut, Cross. You had Limpy. You had Killer Carl. Those just the names, a few that was there. Shotgun, those Shotgun, Carl Robertson, man, and Reginald Banning, Reginald, I can't remember Weasel's last name, but Tiny Man was Eric. Yeah, so we had built a real good relationship because a lot of times we would like go up to Market Basket and go shop and then come back to Oaks Park and open up the snack bar, 5 the grill. We be cooking and having a good time. We don't open up the park. Whether the park wanted the park open or not, didn't matter. We took advantage of that and did what we needed to do, to have our fun. But yeah, coming back over there to the Pine Terrace, Tookie, we would go over there be swimming. Tookie would because he wanted to test his strength and all that, he would pick us up and catapult us into the swimming pool, like shot putting or something, So yeah, that was always a big thing. Monique, what's happening, Monique? How you doing? So that was big. So and then that's how you start meeting up with you start becoming aware of Payback, Underground, the UGs, right? The Raymonds, and that's when all these neighborhood Crips and East Side Crips and all these different, because at one time it was just West Side Crip, East Side Crip, West Side Crip, Compton Crips, right? And then what you guys know as Grave Street was the JDs, the Jordan Down Crips, and people don't always mention that. But before there was ever a Grape, there was the Jordan Down Crips, and then a lot of people don't know that 110th Street used to be 110th Street PJ Watts Crip too. See, yeah, see, then it became the 10 line. So what I'm saying, history is history, man. Don't be mad at it. It's just that, okay, now that somebody know that history, you get mad at them because they say it, and you get mad about it. You get mad about it. Oh man. So Poindexter, Anthony Blaylock, and Gary McGowan, which is Andre McGowan and Renee McGowan brother, they was all over there in those PJs. So one of the situations that happened, right, was my homie. We had a homeboy named Gary too, Gary Miller. We called him the governor. He got into a little situation up at Dominguez. So him and a couple of homies, they jump in the Jeep, I go back up to Dominguez, and they get the bus and bop, 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 bop. Man, this dude, man, out of all people to shoot, right? He rest in peace now, so I can talk about this. And he rest in peace now. I can talk about this. It's just, situation, right? He shoot the homegirl, Robin Sesson. Now, out of all these people he's trying to shoot, out of all people he shoot the homegirl Robin Sesson. The bullet go right through. She had one of those big old. Back then, the women used to wear the big, beautiful naturals. That's when our sisters was fire. I remember they used to wear them naturals, them Levi's, and the moccasins. Cynthia used to have them moccasins on with them bomber jackets. She had the bomber jacket with the moccasins, and she had her hair, nice, big old natural. Yeah, she was a hottie out there. Yeah, everybody was looking, including me. So yeah, so the sisters was fire back then, man. I'm talking about, man. Do you imagine walking through the hallways at school, playing that song on the 8 track, fire, do 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 do, fire, do do do. You know, sisters walking around with these big old naturals and stuff, looking good. You know, none of this stuff that we see now with these eyelashes and all this other stuff we see now. Your poor sister was a casual. Well, yeah, that's crazy, huh? Robin Sessom. I don't know what happened, but she was down there with Ronnie and Fred. One and Fred. Sleepy stayed in the Red House. He was one and Fred brother. One and Fred later on moved to the park, Wilmington Arms. So one and Fred, Arthur Wolf. We call him Wolf. AB Wolf. Then Lacey. They all lived in another little kind of home that was on Chester. Yep. So yeah, and then that was across the street from Yogi, Boo Boo, Ranger, and Jelly. And let's see who else was on that street right there. I think that was Nuck, Dennis Young. Let's see who else was down there. And down the street from there was Little George Neal. You know, so it was like then around the corner was Bartender and Malcolm, and then Tony Washington and Bill and Dwayne Ivy. Now they was started the Peastone, what's it? Blackstone, Pearl Avenue, Pyru. See, people don't know about that. Hello, Michelle, how are you? People don't know how about that. So I take people back in time and I challenge these people memories. And then when I get to mention stuff, and I don't remember, well, you wasn't around. If you don't know, you don't know. It's no big deal. You just wasn't around. So the dress code back then for both Pyrus and Crip. At that time, I remember the Pyrus used to have the auburn patches in their head, right? And the Crips used to have the earrings with the cross hanging down. And they both used to wear the Ace Deuces, the Epsons, and the Derbies, and the Godfathers with the matches all that. And they both used to wear the Levi's. They both used to wear the bomber jackets. They both used to wear the crocus sacks and wallabies and all that stuff. So there was a time when you would look at them. Say that again, Melly. Black Pearl Avenue, Blackstone, Pyru. That's what it was. Pearl Avenue, Black Peastone, Pearl Avenue, Blackstone, Pyru. Yep. They didn't last long. It was just something. I don't know if Bartender started that or Tony or Dwayne and Bill Ivy. There was Raymond. Remember Lil Raymond stayed on that street, and I think Wayne Butler and all them, they was all part of that because they all live right there. Anyway, what's up, Hoop? 5'9". So yeah, I'm doing super chats today, guys. So yeah, that's where we at with that. But anyway, Michelle, what's happening? How are you? How is it still cold out there in Denver? Still cold? I know it gets snowing in Denver, boy. I've been through Denver, boy, and it'd be like snow was on the ground. But anyway, so yeah, so that Red House stuff, that Red House Crippin, man, it was like, ooh, I'll tell you, that's what Bitter Dog Bruno, man. You talking about a character? You think he a character now? You should have seen a young Bitter Dog Bruno. He was unstoppable. That's why when Tookie wrote about him in his book, I wasn't surprised about it. The big homie D's. If you didn't move to Santana Bar, do you believe you would have? Of course I would have been. Of course, that's a no-brainer. Because that's where I live, bro. You associated yourself with where you live. If I'd have stayed in Fruittown, I would have definitely been 100% a Fruittown Pyru. No, that's just what it is. I ain't afraid to say that. That's just history. That's where most people gravitate towards is where they live. It was really like unorthodox to see somebody leave one neighborhood and go to another hood and start claiming it. That was a little strange to me. Now, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it was a little strange to me. So there was associations that how that happened though. A lot of times how that happened is that you went to school with a set of friends, and when those set of friends became something, even though you might live outside a little bit outside of the neighborhood, you stuck with your friends and say, okay, I'm gonna be what my friends are. Even though I live over here, and that just made it more difficult because there was times we had to walk certain homies home, make sure they got home because of that reason. That don't make it different. Don't make things deficient or less than. It just make it different, guys. There was no such thing as treetop back then. That came later. That came later. Let's see. You had to lay over in Denver. Yeah, so that so part of that buffing thing and going back to the buffing, right? For us in Compton, there was a lot of different ways that came about. Mac Thomas, Tookie, Big Rebo, Big Volcano. When you seen some of them guys, my homie, even my homie Rodar Reg, he gravitate towards that buffer stuff, and there was a lot of people. I mean, I lift weights, but I didn't get nowhere like how they eat, man. These dudes, man, Big Zach from Nutty Block, man, that dude would make a bicep and it would double up, boom, 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 two. Like, hey, man, that's strange how that used to happen. And it was a lot of dudes from over there, like Big Ant, all these dudes used to be on swole, man, super swole. And that part of that was intimidation though. You see somebody walk around like that, you're like, man, do I want to try this dude? But then when you start realizing that just because somebody had muscles didn't mean they had skills. It didn't mean they was able to put the skill set together with the muscles and learn how to use the strength, muscles, and also put the skills with it and to outmaneuver you and disarm you or whatever. A lot of times, all that stuff in life. Show the professor some love. And yeah, show the professor some love. I appreciate that, Marlena. There go my homie Claybo in the house. What's up, Claybo? Now Claybo is and Swan and all them little dudes, they all was right there up under me. They saw me out in the streets and my shenanigans and I used to call them the little bastards. I just had a guy that they hit me, and he's up in Hesperia, and heavy. He said, man, I remember when you used to come in and shake us up on Poppy Street. He said, man, we see you hit the corner, man, we get ghosts. I was gonna do that but laugh. I was funny that he mentioned that. But anyway, I want to say, guys, listen, man, for our loss, man, Bully the Bull out of Palm and Oak, man, I just got the word, man, that he passed away, man. You guys know him as Bully Bull. He's a rapper. He's an artist. He's part of the Fisher. I believe his name is Michael Fisher, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a Fisher. He's one of the Reverend Pastor, Reverend Fisher's grandsons over there off of Wilmington over in the front. Yeah, I just heard that Big Rebo has some pretty good, Big Rebo. Yeah, I just heard he passed away, and my condolences go out to him and his family. I know, I don't know if Michelle was his auntie or his mother. I don't know. I gotta just go back and recollect. Sometimes my mind don't work as good as I like it to, but yeah. Rest in peace to him, and condolences going out to his family, the Palm and Oaks, and everybody that loved and cared about him, his children. It's so unfortunate, man, when you lose people that up under you. I saw him come up, and as a kid, and then he find his way and navigate through all this Crippin stuff, and survive all that to get to this point to where he have a heart attack or something, So, man, it's crazy. But that's just, what life is. You're here today, gone tomorrow. Nothing's promised. We just got to make, do the best. What's up, Levert Pitts? What's going on? Your chin don't lift weights. That's it. That's it. I see some big ones go down, bro. I see some big ones go down. I'm like, wow. Yep, you're right. You're right. It comes the thumping, and that's what they used to call it to, man. That dude can thump. That dude can thump. Even when I talked to Marcellus, man, that dude can thump. Yeah, so when you see the baby honchos, the head honchos, the herons, a lot of even baby gangster, he got into the bodybuilding thing. So a lot of different people, took that route, and they look nice. Shout out to Lamar. He's a Pitts. That's Stanley Pitts' nephew. Yeah, so so the Red House was very, very significant in that area in terms because you got fraud. Robert Thomas' hand got first jaw I seen get broken. Rob dealt it out. One of the first time I ever heard somebody got taken out, Rob dealt that out. Him and Johnny Jones. Well, actually, Duck, Johnny Jones, and Killer Carl at Whaley probably at, I think it was 71 when they caught theirs, and Rob caught his on another situation. But yeah, but all these individuals I'm talking about, they rest in peace. So it's nothing nobody can do. It's crazy though when I think about Nathaniel Fletcher, the Snake, Chili Pimp, Roy Scott, Gary the Governor, let's see, Robert Thomas, Duck, all these different people, man, they gone, man. Silas Cole, Chocolate, aka Chocolate, all these people gone. And I used to see them every day, and they was like, to me, when I looked at them, I was like, these dudes was the premier, they was the gods of Crippin in that area, And then you look at Killer Wayne and Killer Bray, New York, Heavyhead's still around, this man, just gone. And you would think like, you didn't see that, and then when it started happening, you be like, wow. Your mind is on point, Melly Mel. You have a great history, recollection, and can rattle off relevant names on the spot. Yeah. Flip Dog. He became a Southside Crip, but he was really originally Midtown. Andre Butler, Roddy Butler. Roddy became Santana. He was probably one of the first casualties of Santana that lost his life. Yeah. Chili Pimp, cold name. Yeah, Chili Pimp was a cold dude. Anyway, Chili Pimp was he came from Chicago. He was a Blackstone Ranger. Chili Pimp used to have the brims, right? He used to have the leather coat with the belt on it tied, and he used to have what's called a baby cannon. He had a shotgun about that big. I don't know how that thing was scary to me. I wouldn't even put that thing in my hand, let alone fire it. Shout out to media development because of Donald Duck Norwood, rest in peace. Yeah, Duck was a man. That Duck had that walk. Duck had them two long braids, right? Hang down that like an Indian, right? He put that brim because right here that was blowed out. That got blowed out later on. So he kept that hat on, right? And he had the legs kicked out. He had the biscuits on with the Levi's. And I'm feeling that then he started, dressing up. He started, evolving in his Crippin, and the dress became different, but still he was Duck. He was Duck. And Duck, I used to watch Duck. Sean, what's going on? I used to watch Duck go from business to business. Duck didn't let businesses operate in the neighborhood, and he didn't, and the homies didn't get a piece of action. Duck was good at the extortion game. You didn't run no business in that all off meats, the liquor store, the laundromat, the auto parts, Frank Carver's there. Duck went up there, man. Went up to them people, man. Now this ain't no hearsay, Killer Cali. This ain't nothing. This is what I saw with my eyes. Duck go in there and get money from these people. Yeah, I saw Duck do that. But when you got somebody like Robert Thomas and Big Roy Scott had to be. If Roy was living right now, I think Roy would be like probably 72. Roy was older, but straight knockout artist. Curtis Patrick, CP, Linda Patrick's brother. Um, Another one. Matter of fact, Curtis' birthday is on 722. Ironic, right? Total 723. It's ironic that that day is fall 722 SBC. But anyway, yeah, so when you get the name of these people, people don't be knowing these people because they weren't around. And then when you get to talking about them, it's like, oh shucks. But listen and learn. Don't become offensive. Don't try to tear down what's being said, but use it to understand what your foundation and where you come from, and all the individuals was there before you got there. That's what you use it for. But at the same time, you can also take it and know that Stan, what's going on, Stan? What Stan got a question? Stan, you ain't got no question? I thought you had a question. Stan, the man in the house. Standing, I'm gonna tell the story, right? Because later on, that's a whole nother story. I don't want to give it today. But when I moved out of the neighborhood, I moved to the Hillview, right? And it's over where Stan grew up, Stan the man. The Hillview was on El Segundo in Vermont. It was right behind Denny's in the Arco, set on the corner of Denny's and the Executive Inn, and my balcony set right there. And that's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, interesting story with the paybacks and the Raymonds and everybody in that area. But that's a whole nother story. We'll do that story on another day. But shout out to Stan, man. Appreciate you, Stan. One love, bro. I thought you had a question. You know what? I'm gonna answer that question, Asiatic. Even though you did super chat, I'm gonna answer that question. So the connection is that they knew who the South Park businessmen were. And the South Park businessmen were some real reputable dudes. So they took the namesake, and added it to the Oaks Park businessmen. Not that they had any type of connection, but it was such a cool name. So that's how they took it, bro. They kind of stole that name, to be honest about it. Yeah, but it was synonymous with South Park. So South Park, Oaks Park, right? So get it, see how that connects. You got South Park businessman, Oaks Park businessman. So the businessmen were really, 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 really synonymous in LA, and they was quite the tribe, which is a social club now, and that's what I would like to see both Pyrus and Crips become more social clubs and be community activists and just help build a community versus being the ones who tear it up and tear it down and burn it down. We got to get out of that mindset because that's not doing us. That's not helping us. It's not. It's not helping us when we go week after week unliving black people, unliving black people. The morgues are filled up by black people, by other black people. That's not good for the culture. Barry White was a bit. Yeah, when I talked to Big Physical and Wolf from Fire Trade, they talked about Barry White. They got that history. So, and that's the interesting thing about when I go to South Park. I love going to South Park, sitting with the Avalons, sitting at the politic table. I've been over there with the businessmen. They got the businessmen got their little area. The Avalons got their area. Then they got a politic area. It's cool the way they got it. Yeah, I don't want to be giving up their business, but it's. I want to say this: they know how to do it. They know how to do it. It's such a beautiful thing when you look at it. And if you understand the culture, how necessary it is to have those components. Because here's the thing, the Avalons, they got their big homies. They got the pregnants, the newborns, the unborns, and all that different stuff right there. They got all that right there. And they can get that history and draw from that history and help. And they understand what helped shape the Fire Trade Avalon Gangster Crips. They understand it better than anybody. So it's a beautiful thing because I'm a history buff. I really, really love history. So when I'm looking at it, and I don't know if other people are looking at it that way, but I'm looking at it, wow, this is great history. I'm right here with the South Park businessmen. Then they went from the the Avalon, the ABC, the Avalon Baby Crips, right? And then Uncle Mel, this is Russ from Cat. What's up, Russ? What's going on with you? They they went from the Avalon Baby Crips to the Avalon Gangster Crips, right? So when you see all them transitioning happening, and then you get Wolf and Big Physical, somebody that can go back to the end and tell that, and Bull, shout out to Bull, and shout out to my boy Blue, shout out to Big Cartoon from over there, and everybody else from over there. I was in the pen with Lee Dog. I haven't seen Lee Dog yet, though. And Boo Bop was in the feds with me. Expected. Bro, like I say, bro, if you ain't put no money to it, I'm not answering it. So you do that, super chat it. If you want that question, you want a question like that answered, you super chat it, bro. Other than that, I'm mute. There we go. So rolling right along. So we on Pine. We had Pine, Oak Street, uh, Santa Fe, which we call the Peanut, because that's what Killer Raider, Tommy, T-Bone, Big Falls, Tall Jack, and a couple other homies. They all stayed in the Peanut. They all stayed in the Peanut, and then right across the street was Reginald Edwards. What we call Baby Ridge? Something. Well, I forgot what we call Ridge. He rest in peace now. And then up the street was the Tucker Blocks, was Darnell, Glenn, June, Thunderbird, Frankie, Baby Charles. Baby Charles the one that rode Crip in the streets with the gunpowder, set himself on fire. Then on Golden Street was Anthony Maddox, Snack, Burdock. Burdock lived on Oaks. White Boy Dean and others. Bird, which is McElroy, they lived on there too. So yeah, and then of course Spring is where everybody used to be at on the S. I call it the S block. And even back in the Santana days, we all was on Spring Street, But anyway, Robert Thomas stayed on the corner right there, and everybody used to be at Rob's house because he had the back house in the back of his mama's house, and then his mother would be at work. His sister Cardi would be at school, so we had a free run right there. A lot of fun right there. Some of the first time when Rob got his Brougham, we jump in the Brougham. He the one who took me to business. We was going to business, dumping that water, out there back then. Yeah. Okay, no problem, Rodney. I wasn't talking to you, Rodney. I was talking to that other guy that answered that question about putting in Mac Thomas. You good, Rodney? You good, bro? Your question are getting answered because I know you good. But no, there was another guy. He asked a question about Mac Thomas and Puddin. Rossi Smurf. See, there it is. Rossi Smurf answered your question. He answered it for you. I didn't answer it, but that's just his opinion about it. That's all I can tell you about that. That's all I can tell you about that. Is there anything else? We got any more super chats before I jump up out of here and get, because I got to get going. This morning I went to Yuma, guys. There is nothing, absolutely nothing in human but dirt, sand, and sun and wind. uh, some on fire from Pyru. Again, you want these questions asked, you got to super chat that stuff. I see that scenery, seen that scenery. Fire. I'm gonna say this: Fire wasn't a bad dude, man. He wasn't a bad dude. I went to school with Fire. He said, "Let me be quiet." Asiatic Supreme. There you go. What's going on, Asiatic Supreme? Appreciate it. Where here we go. Here we go. Where do these West Rancho, East Rancho, and Dominguez come from? Those are unincorporated areas that started for various reasons, bro. Because they trying to get away from the name Compton, right? By getting away from the name Compton, they can ask for grants and different type of money. So it's a land grab. It's a form of deception, in order to get money from the federal government. So when they do that, they're not necessarily tapped into Compton, but it's all Compton, bro. Even when you look at Willowbrook, even that part where they call Athens. Back when I was a kid, all that was Compton because I grew up on 135th and Avalon once again over there by the 135s, right? If I had to move from there, I'd have been 135, okay? So let's get that straight. If I had to move off of Prilla, I've been some other kind of, I guess, because my cousin, Big Ken Dog, still in the pen, been in there forever. He was a terrible dude over there. He was a terror. He was a holy terror. Mac Turtle, where do these West Rancho Dominguez and Rancho? Oh, he answered that question. Okay, thanks, Mac Turtle. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. AGI Supreme, appreciate you too as well. Appreciate you. On the average day, how many miles do you drive? You know what? On an average day, I say about 400. 400. Because you got to remember, I'm local. So sometimes it'd be shorter than that. All it's really about, just getting there because I do my thing, bro. I've been doing this a while. So I've been doing this since 98. 98, yeah. Same thing they did with South. See, and that's another thing. South Central is made up by the media. He was my uncle. I'm OJ from 84 Main Street. Much respect. Hit the 4800. Okay, right on, man. Appreciate you. Oh, Fire was your uncle, huh? Okay, that's Juan Anderson. Juan Anderson, Lance Anderson, and what was their older brother? He got killed at the hotels too. He was messing with this prostitute named Jesse. He wound up, yeah, unfortunate. I can't think of what their older brother name was, but he was a pimp. He was getting his pimp on. Maybe you could tell me if you can remember his name. Everyone have a nice evening. Be safe. Right on, Stan. Appreciate you for stopping by, bro. Thank you. So you know what? I like this history stuff because I think it like kind of shapes the narrative and it gives you a broader perspective on individuality and groupality and all the different stuff. Because Stone, yeah, there you go, Stone, yeah, Stone. I remember Stone. Stone lost his life, bro, messing around with a prostitute named Jessie. I remember it well. He was at the Rocky. I remember it well. hmm But anyway, yeah, Keith Anderson. There you go, Keith Anderson. Yeah, them definitely your cousins. And they're definitely. Where's Lance at? Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, man, I was. I like this stuff. All your uncles, man. That's for man. I show you, this is a small world we live in. You never know, right? Yeah, I went to school with your uncles. I went to school with them. Yeah, so South Central is a term used, but I'm gonna give you one, right? If you go look on the sign, if you go right there on by Centennial, right, Centennial High School, and you look on that sign, right there on the sign, right, the street sign, it's on El Segundo Central. The street is gonna say South Central on the sign. So basically, where they saying South Central really is not really South Central, because South of Central starts as you come across the as you come across Watts and you get to El Segundo, and right there, this don't take my word of it, go look for it, go look at it. On the sign it's going to say South Central on the street sign, the green sign. So the media started that name, so just like they started crack, that came from the media. A lot of different words, just like when all that crib stuff, when they was talking about crib and all that came from the media, because they couldn't pronounce it or they misquoted it. It's all a lot of stuff come from media, because they really don't understand the dynamics and they just get to saying stuff. Yeah, it go all the way back to 50s, man. Come on now. You didn't know that? Yeah, that's where you get the rebel rousers, the gladiators, the Slawsons, the businessman, all them stuff. All that stuff came out of the 50s, bro. Because they was there to combat the spook hunters. No, no, it came. They started. Remember, they started that during the riot. You never heard the term South Central during the 60s or the 70s or the 80s. It is you didn't start hearing that until the riot. Think about it. Just like you didn't start hearing about crack until after 86 or something. But before it was rock cocaine, remember? The media changed the name because they looked at it little crack rocks or whatever, just they always change the narrative. They always change things to fit their description of it to make it seem worse. It's not to beautify it. See, we took the name South Central like as an honor, but they took the name to use the discredit. See, you got to look at the different mindsets. To call it South Central is a discredit to what that area really is. It is the Central Corridor. See? See how that works? The Central Corridor was what? The mecca of black entertainment and the mecca of black history. So how we take it from be calling the Central Corridor to be calling South Central? Because now you get to erase what the Central Corridor was about by calling it South Central, which is associated and attached to a melee, a uprising, a riot, burn, baby, burn, and all that stuff. See? But the South Central Corridor, where Jackie Wilson and Ray Charles and all these different amazing Chuck Berry and some of these Big Joe Sample and Big Mama Thornton and just to name a few, Little Richard, these people would come perform, guys. See, you don't know about, because you're young, you don't know about the lobbying, the Naughty Pine, the Jeffties, which you guys call Eve After Dark was Jeffties, way before it was ever Eve After Dark. You guys don't know about that. Cleos, they was cabarets. But anyway, I've been here an hour. I've been sharing, and hopefully we get to share some more. I found out several years of that when I found out about the gangs, like the avenues and the businessmen, they predate. Of course, all that predates the Crips. The Crips came from mercurial, meaning it was all of a sudden it became from a disgruntled position. It was somebody that felt like, okay, I can do my thing too, but I'll do it without you. So the Crips were created out of emotions. Nobody want to say that, but that's what it was. If you go and you standing next to Craig Musson wanting to be an avenue and he deny you and he sort of rough you up or whatever, that's emotions. Because now you got to prove to him that you got something bigger and better that's going to be bigger, better, and stronger than what he got, right? So that was created out of emotion, something all of a sudden unpredictable, wayward. But don't mind me just watching. Church moving. Professor Melly Mill, you know the vibe. But go ahead and lock that door. Marlena Williams, you know the vibe. Lock the door, because we are gone.
Cali Finders, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing, they see me shining. That's hard work, proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. I leave bad man and I'm so pretty. I got that tech with me, that's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking, and I don't talk about it, I just make it happen. Word on the block is that my shit go. Reach for the low.
We are gone. Lock the door.